And now, you're tuned into RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's RBLR Sports.
Hello and welcome to your RBLR Rays podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. We're glad to have you here. I am your host, Pat Davenport. And while the Rays have gone limping into the All-Star break, to put it mildly, it's okay, because if we had a podcasting All-Star game, then I know two people that are right alongside me today to talk about our Tampa Bay Rays, who would be booking their tickets to Atlanta as we speak. And that is Ben Whitelaw and Carter Brantley. Ben, how are you doing?
Doing good. I just made some chai ice cream with like a brown butter vanilla swirl type thing in there. So I'm excited about that. How's it going with you? I saw what exactly was that? Like the log type of cake?
Yeah, it was a log. It was a log. It was a double chocolate, raspberry, and pistachio roulade. It's kind of like a Swiss roll, but with meringues instead of like cake.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like that.
It was really nice. It keeps it kind of light. It blew my mind. I mean, we could talk about baking all day, but I know someone that would not have any time for this kind of ice cream shenanigans. It's Carter.
No.
How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm not gonna lie. I had a lot of dessert this past week. My fiance now and I were on vacation.
Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we had a lot of dessert. We had a lot of key lime pie, a lot of I feel like we had a lot of key lime pie. Goodness, I can't even think. But, no, it was great. Yeah. But unlike the Rays, I was not even watching the Rays this past week. I was on vacation. I was at the beach. I was having a good time. I snuck in a little score check every now and then, unfortunately. But yeah, no, I'm excited to talk some ball though. It's good to be back. It's good to be back in Riverview instead of St. Pete. Yeah, I'm not even recognizing what words y'all are saying when y'all are talking about desserts sometimes. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? A Swiss log or a Swiss roll? Like, man, I got to step my dessert game up because clearly I am behind on that.
Yeah, we got to be keeping up with all our sweet treats, because one thing that has not been very sweet has been these Tampa Bay Rays. And we're going to talk about a very rough past couple of weeks for our Rays. But we're also going to, once we've got all our venting and our frustrations out there of what has been a really rough month of July, we're going to talk about some stuff that we can look forward to as well, because there is a lot of frustration, a lot of bad with this team. But I think over the next week, we're going to come to recognize a lot of good things about this team as well, and a lot of things that should get us excited despite the kind of frustrating on-field product right now. But this is an open discussion. Be sure to like the video if you're enjoying what you're seeing, or when you've made that verdict along the way. Be sure to subscribe if you have enjoyed what you listened to, because it'll mean that you don't miss an episode. And if you're watching us live, be sure to weigh in the comments, because I'm sure you definitely have some thoughts on this current Rays baseball team right now. If you have any thoughts, questions, drop them in the comments, particularly on the YouTube page, and we can address them, talk about them live on the show, which is always a great thing to be doing. And we always want to talk to you guys and get the feel of how Rays fans are doing. So without any further ado, the Rays in the month of July. I mean, we've just come post-game off a 4-game sweep of the Boston Red Sox in Fenway. I don't know what it is about Fenway Park, but it seems to be the home of the most frustrating games of any given season. It feels like I'm still suffering some kind of PTSD from that 2021 postseason series, those 2 games at Fenway Park. It always seems to be some kind of shenanigans. This time there was an obstruction call. That was very uncharacteristic. And then Chandler Simpson decided to walk home on a non-certain play. And then Rafaela managed to hit the shortest home run since his walk-off a few weeks ago. So it's like, everything that could have went wrong did go wrong, and it feels like that's been the story of the entire month of July. 3-13 in the month of July. Ben, I'll start with you. Why? What's happened to this Rays team that was so good in June that suddenly fallen off a cliff in July?
I mean, they're just nothing is going right for them. Like, they're not getting any of the lucky bounces they need. I'm looking at their record right now, like from recent. I just wanted to make sure I'm not crazy. I think like all of them have been 1-run losses, or yeah, so 1 run, 1 run, 1 run. Okay, so Detroit, we just got. I mean, you're going to get beat by Detroit. They have the best record in baseball, but like, yeah, it's a lot of 1 run losses, and those are the kind of games where if you have one more bounce that goes your way, one more pitch, you're talking about going 11-4 in their last 15 instead of 4-11. So I mean, you're not going to win all of those, but you get the point. Like it's really tight losses. I'd be more concerned if they were like getting blown out, but they're not. So just throw more strikes. And that'll help a lot.
Yeah. Carter, have you noticed a tangible difference in how the Rays are playing, or do you think there's a lot of, I guess, luck or what?
Yeah, I mean, mostly luck. The bullpen struggles have been tough to see, but at the same time, like stuff happens sometimes. Like the Pete walk-off home run that he gave up to Rafaela, like that was a great pitch. It
tough. Was a good pitch.
Yeah, it's tough to give up a bomb on that kind of pitch. And it's really difficult always for me at least, because you have to fight that urge to like just focus on results. So it's tough to fight through that kind of thing, because they haven't been playing super well in terms of getting the wins, So like it's hard not like whether or not we can sit here and talk about the 1-run losses and the unlucky this, unlucky that. But they're still 2-8 over their last 10. Like they're just not getting the results. So it's tough, but I have full confidence that things can turn around. As bad as they've been in July and as good as they were in June, I think the Rays' actual talent level is probably somewhere in the middle, which somewhere in the middle of that, probably a pretty good team. I still have faith that they can make the playoffs, but it's a tough stretch. Stuff like this happens. So just gotta ride the wave of negativity, and then hopefully the night is always darkest before the dawn, whatever that cliche Batman quote is or whatever. But hopefully the dawn's on its way, and this all-star break couldn't come at a better time, honestly, in my opinion. Like they need a reset, just getting a break. Hopefully Brandon Lau comes back too. He'll hopefully be coming back and continue to hit bombs, and George Steinbrenner. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think a big thing there seems to be two key injuries that have happened over the past couple of weeks that have really kind of affected this team. Brandon Lau being one of them, and the other being Manuel Rodriguez as well, who I think he was really good. He's been really good this season, but he's kind of flown quietly under the radar of most. But as soon as he disappears and you have one less high leverage arm, then all of a sudden that's, the bullpen guys that you might not want to go to in high leverage situations like Uceda, you might have to go to them a little bit more often without Rodriguez, because otherwise, you're going to have to rely on people like Montgomery a bit more perhaps. And that's, I think, partially to blame for the bullpen struggles, is that guys that you probably wouldn't want in those higher leverage situations are ending up there. And they're guys who have been struggling with command and struggling with consistency, like Uceda, Montgomery, because everyone's having to move up a rung because of Rodriguez. And I think we got some pretty bad news with Rodriguez in his rehab as well. That his velocity was down on his rehab, and they're taking him off it, and he's going to go get checked. These things tend not to be a good sign when the velo is down, and we might expect an extended absence for Rodriguez. I guess with the trade deadline looming, the Rays did go get Brian Baker from the Orioles. Do we need another one, Ben? Do we need another reliever?
I mean, you always need another reliever, and thankfully that's like the easiest thing to fill. I don't know what the timeline is on Hunter Biggie, but like he's got like a mid 2.5 ERA since joining, I think, for his career and just since joining the Rays in general. Like he's awesome. Unfortunately, that fluke foul ball thing is probably going to delay his timeline, but he could be back eventually. Nate Lavender is supposed to come back at some point in August, so we're going to see him. He was the Rule 5 pick. Really good lefty, so that'll help the bullpen. I'm trying to think of who else. They have a couple guys.
Faedo's on the way.
Faedo, yeah, he's on the way back. He's kind of phoning it in right now, and in AAA, just getting his reps in, and that's fine. There are so many options, so it does. I don't think it necessarily has to be an external thing, but they could always do that. They did it already, so I'm thinking it probably won't happen again. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Are they going to go outside the org to try to plug up the leaky bullpen?
Yeah, I'm kind of more inclined to like agree with you, Ben. Probably not. If there's one thing the Rays love to do, it's to kind of find internal options to replace these things, and they have a great track record up for it. So why would they? Why would they change? But yeah, I'm excited to see when Hunter Biggie comes back, or Biggie. I can never pronounce his last name correctly, but he's got electric stuff. I think he's going to be fantastic. But the Emrod news does suck. Like, he was pitching so well. And like you said, Pat, it's never really a good thing when a guy comes back from an injury, velocity's down, and the team's like, oh, yeah, this isn't good. Yeah, it's just tough. Obviously, not good to speculate, but not necessarily a good sign. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not really uber concerned with the bullpen because, like, the Rays have these weird. I mean, every team has these weird stretches where the bullpen just kind of struggles. It just happens. It's baseball. That's 162 games. Weird stuff is going to happen, and it's just they're just kind of lost right now. But they'll find their way back. I have a lot of faith that Kyle Snyder and the boys can get in the lab and figure out what's going on, or maybe nothing's even really going on, and they just need to take a break and come back and be strong. So yeah, I have a lot of confidence in their internal options. I'm really excited about Faedo. I was kind of, I don't want to say banging the table for him because that sounds overly enthusiastic, but I was excited for them to get him. So he's a local guy, so hopefully he can come in and shore up this bullpen for sure.
Yeah, I think the frustrating thing has been that, like, every bullpenner, like every relief pitcher, will have a bad game at some point. They'll probably have a small handful. Even the best ones will have a small handful of, like, say 4 or 5 bad games over a year. The problem is, like, they're all taking it in turns to have their bad games in a row at the moment. So, like, one day Fairbanks has had his only, like, bad game, and even then it was like a good pitch that got hit for a home run. And then Brian Baker, who was being pretty good for the O's, turns up and immediately does the thing that the Rays, the opposite of what the Rays probably acquired him for, is that he hammers the strike zone, doesn't walk many guys, and then immediately is like, hey, I'm going to have my worst game of the season so far and walk a bunch of guys. And then, Ucedo will be like, now my turn for a bad game. And I feel a bit sorry for Kevin Cash because it feels like there's some kind of contagious thing at the moment where all the relievers are still probably on the whole doing pretty well, but they're just taking it in turns to blow leads at the moment, which is like, what are you supposed to do about that? I don't really know what you're supposed to do. But also, I guess the other major concern is now with a Brandon Lowless lineup. In the month of July, they've only been averaging about 3.5 runs a game. And in fact, the past 2 games, the bullpen hasn't given up a single run. But guess what? We scored 1 run over the past 2 games. And, even the run we scored today ended a stretch of 18 innings without scoring a run. So the offense is suddenly something that we were totally chill about in the month of June has completely fallen off a cliff. Admittedly, it's only a 2-week sample size, but we're feeling a Brandon Lowe-shaped hole in the lineup, I think, right now. It means that Taylor Walls is still getting regular at-bats. It also means that Caballero is going to be getting more at-bats than you probably want him to. Again, do the Rays look externally for an improvement to the offense, or do you just bank on Brandon Lowe being back straight after the break?
I think you probably just bank on Lowe being back. Plus, like, Kim unfortunately exited the game with that. I think it was a foot injury or something, which also really kind of sucks. But at the same time, that moves Walls back to short, and maybe Curtis Mead plays a little bit more second or something. So it's it's a wait and see kind of thing. Obviously, the ideal is that Ha-Seong Kim and Brandon Lowe both are healthy. And they both are able to return, and that would be super awesome, cool. But even if one of them's hurt, the good news, Walls can play short or second and be so good defensively that it almost won't really matter what he does on offense. But yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's any real solution for them externally with trades or anything like that, other than maybe if Chandler Simpson isn't, working out, maybe center field if DeLuca's rehab doesn't go well. But I don't even that, like, I'm not really super, jazzed about. I'd rather them just hold the course. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of positive potential with this team still, even with this rough stretch recently, especially on offense. I'm not uber concerned about it.
Yeah, even today we only scored 1 run, but there were a lot of good at bats.
For sure.
A lot of good at bats.
Yeah.
Which for me, if the process is fine, then it's not really a concern. Like, they're still, not chasing that much. They're still like, not striking out that much, and they're having long at bats, seeing a lot of pitches, which to me means that they're still doing fine. They're just not quite getting the results right now. I mean, people are going to ask this, so I'm going to ask it, even though I think I know what the answer is going to be. So on July 1st, the Rays had playoff odds, according to Fangraphs, of 73%. They now have playoff odds of 37%. They have halved their odds of making the playoffs over the past 2 weeks. Obviously, playoff odds they hold as much weight as the kilobyte of space they take up on the Fangraph server. But like, the Rays are now out. If the season ended today, they would not be in the playoffs. Yandy Diaz, Brandon Lau, Taj Bradley, all names that get floated around the trade block, even though we all know that the biggest secret is that everyone's always on offer with the Rays. They listen on everybody. But is there a chance that the Rays sell this deadline?
I mean, they're going to do the thing where they do both every single year. They're gonna Sty or Bell. I'm trying to combine the two words, but they're gonna buy and sell. They already kind of bought, I guess. They paid a lot for Brian Baker, so I'm kind of expecting them to maybe move on from someone. It seems like Morel is kind of like on the outside looking in. So maybe that's someone they move. I know there's like rumors of Sean Murphy being someone the Rays are after, and you're going to have to sell something pretty significant to get him. So I'm praying for that. But I don't know. What do you think, Carter?
Yeah, Sean Murphy, that's a crazy one. Like, that's probably like up there with Nelson Cruz in terms of like Rays trading for like a name. I would be really pleasantly surprised if that happened, but obviously, the Rays are connected to everyone, and the Braves are playing so horribly right now, and they have Drake Baldwin, so it makes sense. But that'd be an interesting one for sure. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Dominic Keegan though, so like I'm not really super jazzed about them trading for someone who, like, because Sean Murphy's got a few years still on his contract, or because the Braves like went through that phase where they just extended like everyone. I don't know the specifics of his contract or anything, but
so I just had a look. He's under contract through 2028 and has a club option for 2029. 15 million.
Okay. So that's not that bad. Okay. So I mean, I don't know. I'm still not super excited about that because, like I said, Dominic Keegan needs playing time, but then again, like, Sean Murphy's pretty good. He definitely, I mean, anything's an upgrade at this point at the catching position. So it would be fun. But I'd be curious because the Braves could still contend next year. So I'm guessing it's one of those things where the Braves are like, hey, like, these guys are available, but we're only going to take like kind of massive returns. And I wouldn't be super like banging the table for the Rays to give up any of their really high level prospects, especially for Sean Murphy, who's an upgrade, but is he a significant enough upgrade to warrant jeopardizing some future potential? I don't know. That's a question that I'm probably not well equipped to answer right now, but I don't know. It's definitely an interesting idea. He's kind of the only catcher that comes to mind that would be available on the trade market. The catching position is kind of thin, especially across the board. I don't know. He's definitely a name to watch, but I would also be okay if the Rays didn't trade for him. Either way. Cool.
When it comes to the Rays and making additions that are like names, I always will believe it when it happens as opposed to like banking on it. Not that the Rays don't do it, and no, it's not that they don't try either. They do try to get these guys, but they won't do anything that they think is against their organizational philosophy. Like, they were willing to be aggressive enough at one point, if reporting is to be believed, to trade Junior Caminero for a rental of Shohei Ohtani in 2023. Was it 2023? So
I think so.
Yeah. So like, they're willing to do it, but sometimes it takes two to tango. And if the Angels were competent, they probably should have made that trade, but they weren't. So I'm glad that didn't happen. I don't know about you. Would you wish we got Ohtani for 6 months?
Kinda, honestly. Yeah, that would have been fun. Yeah. But like,
it would have been sick, but Junior,
right?
Is it worth Junior?
Yeah.
For 6 years at least, right? They will try, but I always just go, I don't know, because I think sometimes I think the Rays value players doesn't always align with how other teams value players as well. I think they sometimes, and that means they can sometimes have like lots of trades declined or trades that like are in talks that never end up working out because they value different things and just it never quite matches up. But keep an eye on it, I think. I also think there could be a chance that the Rays could maybe look at the outfield as well as the bullpen. But like, again, they will get people, I think. I think they'll get someone. And I think the reason that they'll get someone is because they're getting a bit loaded down in the minors, particularly with like Rule 5 guys. And they could maybe say, for example, like a Bob Seymour or someone. I think there'll be a team that would like a Bob Seymour, right? Like a team that's not doing very well, like a Rockies or a White Sox might want a Bob Seymour, and you could get a reliever out of them for that. Loads of little things like that, just to make sure the minor leagues don't get too overloaded, because otherwise they'll be bringing so many guys in and have nowhere to put them.
I think Bob Seymour for Hunter Goodman, Colorado, just bang, bang, done. No, I'm just kidding. I definitely see the validity of that for sure. There was that year where they traded for Tommy Pham that I thought that was kind of a weird out of left field kind of deal. And that was really interesting. So maybe that something like that happens. Like there's someone that we're not even that's always the thing with the Rays. They zig when everyone else is zagging and all that stuff. So I don't know. I'd be really fascinated to see how it all plays out, because there's a lot of different avenues that they can explore as always. So pretty exciting for sure.
And like Sean Murphy, I think they don't always go after like the rentals either. They'll go after like whoever they feel is the best fit, regardless of amount of team control, and they don't mind paying more for a bit more control. But I think Ben's right as well that we might offload a few major league pieces as well, because it is a seller's market, the trade deadline. You can get some crazy returns if teams get desperate enough at the deadline. Like, when we were selling last year.
Guardians? Oh, sorry. Do you guys think the Guardians would sell? Because like they've got stuff. They've got a lot. I like them.
I saw the Phillies linked with Class A.
Okay, so they're definitely settling then. So yeah, Austin Hedges, bring him in.
Austin Hedges.
Heck yeah.
He is such a Ray,
man. I can't keep it up. I can't keep watching these catchers. Theis is when he's not supposed to be good, but it's really disappointing. I don't think they would have signed Jansen if Bendix was still here. Bendix is so much more like conservative in his like style. I think John Daniels has probably brought in some aggression because he was always really aggressive with Texas. But man, like, what are they going to do about the catching situation? It's bad. Like, it's the worst it's been. Like, last year was better, surprisingly. The year before that was better. This is the worst year. I don't know. Let me see how many bad years they've had with catchers. But you guys
feels like a few. I mean,
I don't know.
Is this a bad time to say? Sorry, Carter, but is this a bad time to say that Alex Jackson's got a 1200 OPS right now?
Right. Yeah.
Look at his strike rate too, though. He's stealing so many strikes every single game and like getting his pitchers in leverage counts. We don't have that. So like when these 1-run losses come, I've said so much about it. I don't know what else to say anymore, but I am going to look up when's the last time, because the Rays have a negative WAR value from the catching position this season so far. And I want to see when's the last time that happened for a full season. Because we're technically at the midway point, like, because it's the All-Star break, but we're like 96, 97 games into the season. Like, the season's almost over. So I don't know. I'm going to try to figure this out right now. When's the last time? I'm going to go back to 2008 because that's the only time the Rays existed in my brain. Is they started the franchise in 2008.
Right. That's like
you're missing out on the Toby Hall days. Who else was catching for those god awful Devil Rays?
The Troy Festival era he was the closer, right?
Yeah, he was tough.
Right.
He was tough. There was all those years where like Danny Baez and Lance Carter was their all-star representatives. It was just some random reliever that like managed to just like get saves for them. He was their closer or whatever. That was a dark time. But Ben, I was really interested in what's your opinion on the Rays catching philosophy, because it seems like it's 2 years now where they've had like seemingly pretty good framers and they've moved off of them. Like with Pinto and Alex Jackson, they've had two guys that are pretty good defensively and they've just decided to move on. What's your thoughts on like the Rays catching philosophy kind of moving forward?
I mean, honestly, I think those guys just had off the field stuff that got them ousted, and maybe they saw a good opportunity to zig when everybody else is zagging, because a lot of the league has caught on to the framer stuff. Like the Rays were on it early with Jose Molina, Jesus Sucre, Rene Rivera, like all those guys. Like they were like value maxing at the catcher position for like dirt cheap, and now everybody else in the league is doing it. So I think they swung the other way, but so far this season, they are on pace for their fourth worst like FWAR from the catching position since 2008. The last time, 2020 was negative 0.3 FWAR, but that was 2020, like that was 60 games.
Yeah, Mike Zunino is, we got to respect him.
Yeah, and WAR is a counting stat, so like it's kind of apples to oranges there. But the last time they were this low was 2011. They had a negative 1.1 FWAR. 2008, they had a negative 0.1. 2020, negative 0.3. 2024, they were at 1.2, so they were positive. This season, they're at negative 0.1. So, like, I think they still need to address the catching position. I don't like all the good teams, all the best teams. They're really strong up the middle. I'm going to pull up the standings right now and see if I can name up like the up the middle guys. I don't want to take up all the airtime here doing this, but just to make the point, like the Blue Jays are in the top of the division right now. They've got who's their center fielder? Varsho. He's awesome. Varsho. And then Bichette's having a great year at shortstop. And then Alejandro Kirk and Tyler Heineman are framing the heck out of the ball, and Kirk is hitting the ball. So they're really strong up the middle. The Yankees, who's their center fielder? I forgot.
Is it Grisham still, or is it Bellinger? It's either Grisham.
It might be Bellinger.
Bellinger, he's good.
Yeah, he's bounced back.
He's awesome. The Red Sox, Rafaela's out there in center. We just saw what he was doing to us. Trevor Story's at shortstop, but they could have. They have a couple guys that could probably fill in there. And then at catcher, Narvaez is having an insane season.
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
Detroit.
Connor Long there too.
Yeah, Connor Wong.
Connor Wong he's there.
He's there too.
Yeah.
He's there. But yeah, you got to be strong up the middle. And like, okay, we got Kim back. We're still missing DeLuca, so center field is a little rough. Simpson's been okay since coming back up, but he's not really a strong defender yet. It feels like catcher is a position they kind of need to address. And I'm not saying they have to like get rid of Jansen. I have my preferences in that way, but even if you just switch up the backup thing and cut the timeshare to 50-50, like something has to change. Like you can't have, you invested all this money in the catcher position. What is it, like $8.5 million, maybe $9 million combined with Theis, whatever you're still paying Rorik Fit to play in AAA, and then Jansen. That's like $9 million probably or more. And you're getting negative 0.1 WAR. Like you're breaking even essentially. Like that's not good enough. So I think they were also linked to what's his name? Liam Hicks in Miami, Rule 5 draft. They tried to get him. I think they're still looking, and now they're being like rumored to be after Sean Murphy. They were in on him before. They almost offered, or they did offer like Taj when he was still with Oakland. Wish they would have done that. But what are you going to do? So I think catching is the catcher position. And now that I see Austin Hedges is probably available, I think they try to address it in some way. Maybe they call up Keegan. I don't know how good his defense is. I haven't looked at the framing stuff lately. I know Piper is ahead of him defensively. Just give me just something. They got to inject something into that catching position. They can't keep doing this every single day.
Yeah. For sure.
It'd be nice if Jansen was hitting. We wouldn't be having this conversation, but he's not hitting. Like the bat first catcher, that's like a theoretical concept, I think, for the. I mean, there's some good catchers like Will Smith, but like those are unicorns.
That's Wilson Ramos Arasia.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, He was a hitter who caught the ball. I don't know if he was really like a catcher. He was pretty rough, but I don't know. And then whatever we talk about next, I'll be looking up Keegan stuff in the background just so I have something to to talk about.
Great. By the way, in 2011, which was our last really bad year at catcher, I'll put this to Carter. Carter, do you know who the two main catchers were that year?
I meant to look that up.
Oh man, so it's probably too early. It's too early for Darno, right?
Definitely too early for
Definitely
Darno.
Yeah.
Darno. It might be. Is it too early for Rene Rivera, or is he one of them?
It's still too early for Rene Rivera.
Wow, still too early for Rene.
Yeah.
All right, Sucre probably wasn't there, although I don't want to.
It's got to be the end of Molina, near the end of that.
So it's actually pre-Molina.
Wow. Okay.
And Jose Lobaton was a September call-up that played 15 games.
Yeesh. Yeah, Jose Lobaton. Good gracious, what a guy. Shoot, D'Honor wasn't still around at that point, was he? No. Okay. Man, who was after D'Honor? This is a tough one. This is a really tough one.
Yeah, was it Jaso?
Jaso played the most games at catcher that year.
Because
he was a terrible catcher.
Yeah, he was horrible.
But it was actually pretty 50-50. He played 89 games. The other 87 were played by Kelly Shopuk.
Oh my God, yeah. Remember his 2 home run playoff? Was it 2 home runs in the playoffs against the Rangers? Was that him?
I think so.
That was so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was like freshman year of high school. Yeah.
Was that the Jeff Keppinger, Casey Kochman year too in 2000?
That should have been Keppinger.
That is such a great shout, but it was actually the year before Jeff Keppinger and Casey. So the main guys in 2011. I mean, Kochman was there, but not Keppinger. This was we had Reed Brignac at short. We had Evan Longoria still, obviously. The outfield was Matt Joyce, BJ Upton, and the most games in left field, Sam Fuld.
Heck yeah, there you go. I love it.
Sam Fuld.
What a guy.
S-Rod played a lot of games as well, Sean Rodriguez. Elliot Johnson played a fair few games as well.
Oh, man. Elliot Johnson.
And who can forget our primary DH that year, Johnny Damon.
Oh yeah, that was the Manny Ramirez year then.
Yeah. Manny Ramirez, 5 games.
Oh, 5 games. Yeah. Oh man, he's their last. The Razor, his last team. He retired already. Yeah, if he's going,
he did retire already. That's true.
Yeah.
That's awful. That's crazy.
And then in terms of pitchers, there's some guys while we're remembering some guys. People you may know, Jeff Neiman was on that team.
Ooh, the 6'9" or 6'10" fella. He was huge.
Yeah. Jeremy Hellickson was there. Andy Sonnenstein. That's the name.
I miss him. He was great.
Yeah. And then we had a pretty locked down pen. We had some guys here. We had Joel Peralta, Jake McGee, JP Howell, Brandon Gomes, Kyle Farnsworth.
Wow, that is a pretty good bullpen. Yeah, I was about to ask if that was too early for Joaquin Benoit, and I
think it's post Benoit.
Oh, it's post Benoit.
Yeah, Benoit was 2010 , right?
That's right. Yeah, yeah. My sense of time is all over the place.
2010 Rays bullpen was cooking.
They were crazy. Oh
yeah, they had Soriano too, right? Like that that was huge because Soriano was like a name. Like he was a guy. Like he was kind of a big signing. I was always super surprised that they brought him in because Rafael Soriano was no joke. He was good.
That 2010 Rays team. I wish we didn't run into the Rangers.
Yeah.
In fact, you could say that about half our playoff appearances.
Yeah. And half of our road trips to Texas, it's every single time. But okay, I looked up. Sorry, before you get into, I think maybe it's time for the ad read. I don't know, but Dom Keegan, he's below average framer this season. He's at 41.4%, and then Kenny Piper, he's been above average at 44.8%. He's been plus, but the AAA strike zone is a bit tighter. And tighter this year and tighter than the major league strike zone. So I think Piper could come up and be a pretty good defensive addition. Keegan, even though he's below average and not been a great framer, I'm pretty sure he's still 5% better than Danny Jansen this year, which is crazy because Keegan is 19th in framing out of 101 catchers, like, or 19th worst. So he's like near the back end. Yeah, so he's at 41%. Jance is at 37.9 this season. So Keegan hasn't been good, but he'd still come up and do an upgrade defensively, whatever that's worth.
Well, I'll tell you something. Something will never
$8.5 million. $8.5 million for this. I don't know what to say.
Well, I'll tell you something that you don't need to spend $8.5 million on, and you will not need to find an upgrade for. And that is any kind of apparel at shop.rblrsports.com. They have all the best merchandise for your Tampa Bay sports teams. We have the Rays, we have the Rowdies, we have the Bucks, we have the Lightning, we have the Sun as well, all represented on shop.rblrsports.com. And if you use the promo code FLAPPY, you get 10% off your order. You will not regret it. Still one of my fave t-shirts in my rotation is that Bring Back the Devil shirt. Love that. And confusing people all over the UK. Making them think I'm some kind of like Satanist or something. But you know, that's my own personal politics that I won't get into on the podcast. Let's talk about some All-Star Week stuff, because the Rays are kind of busy starting, I guess, yesterday at the Futures game. Brody Hopkins threw a really, really strong inning, threw really hard, and I think alerted a lot of people to an arm that is maybe the best arm in the org, most promising arm in the org in the minor leagues right now. Of course, if you don't know who Brody Hopkins is, we acquired him in the Randy Arozarena trade last deadline, and he has been shoving this year and looks really, really good. Really good stuff, and is a really exciting arm as our Rays representative. I mean, what a find he was, huh?
Yeah, I mean, giving up Randy, like Randy's been pretty good this year for Seattle. Like, don't get me wrong, like he's been a good player. But yeah, exactly. But you know, Brody Hopkins, you just continue to like refill that pitching pipeline, and they'll have, you know, continuously like really good pitching rotation, just like they have this year. Fully just there's really not much else to say. Like, just go look at his performance. It was pretty filthy. It was pretty cool. So yeah, I love the Futures game. I wish they did All-Star Weekend better. Like, why do they have the draft and the Futures game with Major League Baseball games going on? So silly. Like, for a game that's like kind of, you know, on unsteady footing with popularity, like this could be an easy slam dunk. Like, make it separate, like make it a bigger deal. I was kind of bummed that like I had to compete with like, well, do I want to watch the Rays or do I want to watch the Futures game? Like that sucks.
I think that might be an easy decision lately,
right?
Honestly. Like
yeah, for sure. But like at the same time, like it's a decision that no one should have to make. It's kind of silly.
Absolutely.
But anyways, yeah, Brody Hopkins, really, I mean, another great find for the Rays. Unsurprising.
Yeah, really, really good. Does anyone know how Aiden Smith's doing?
He's been pretty solid. Honestly, Brody Hopkins could come up and be like the reliever that they kind of need if they wanted to fast track him. Same with Curé. I'd prefer that they like keep him stretched out, because like the back and forth, like snip snap, that's not necessarily what you would love to do with their elbows. But those are two guys who could probably come up and pitch in the majors later this season, just because the stuff is so loud. Aiden Smith's been solid, playing in Hyatt, 20 years old. Swing and miss is kind of there this season more than last year, but I don't know why. I'm trying to figure out why.
People always told me about Aiden Smith that he's kind of raw, like big power, good speed, pretty good fielder, but can be a bit raw in terms of his tools. Still needs some refinement.
Yeah, I don't really know what's up with the contact being down this much. I mean, he is playing at the highest level he's ever played at, so it could be that. And he's like, I think he's like a young 20. Oh, no, he's an older 20. Okay. He's got a birthday in about 10 days.
Yeah, 10's 21 soon, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, okay, but no, he's been solid, though. Like, he's taking his walks. The power isn't fully there for some reason, but I think it's maybe just some park stuff and age to level things, but he's good. I'm confident he's probably going to be a everyday major leaguer at some point.
Very nice. And also Carson Williams is starting to figure it out as well down on the farm as well.
Yeah,
I think
he's
that's
turning
been the
it.
other big prospect story so far, is that he has been on a heater after a really slow start to his time in AAA. He seems to have figured it out and is really, really, really hitting.
Yeah, because if he can
and
just
they
be
might add another shortstop today in like an hour, so that could happen. But yeah, Carson's been awesome. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just realized we're really close to the draft. I got excited.
yeah, no,
We're going to talk about that in a minute, I think.
I was about to say, yeah.
And then obviously we got the draft in a second, but that'll be a longer talking point, I think. So we'll come back to that in a second. A rare occurrence. The league has recognized a Rays player enough to invite them to the home run derby. Junior Caminero is going to the derby in Atlanta. Always exciting. I love the home run derby. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think it's one of the best things. And when you've got a player that you're actively rooting for in it, it's so fun. I had such fun when Randy did it a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a really stacked field as well. I think it's going to be a really fun one.
Yeah, they sort of just like took the bat speed leaderboard and just like, went like top down. O'Neal Cruz is going to be insane. James Wood is also crazy. Junior obviously is bonkers. I'm really excited for Byron Buxton. Like, I know he's kind of a little bit older. He probably won't win, but like, it's cool that he's finally getting healthy. Like, when he's healthy, he genuinely is like one of the more exciting players in baseball. So that's been a really cool thing. I'm not as much of a fan of the home run derby, but I'm a big fan of this year's field. Like, I think this is probably the best field they've had in terms of like potential for like 500-foot bombs that they've had in a while.
Yeah.
I think O'Neal's going to win it. That's my, I don't know if it's bold, but like, that's my pick. I think O'Neal wins it. He seems to have like, he loves the big moments. So like, I'm pretty excited, and he doesn't get a lot of big moments in Pittsburgh. So, this might be the biggest highlight of his career playing for the Pirates. So I'm excited to see O'Neal go to work.
Yeah, I know on MLB The Show, you get to pick a voucher for who.
The predictions. Yeah.
You're there with O'Neal?
Yeah, I went with O'Neal for that one. Yeah, I do think that someone else has the hardest hit one or the longest hit one, though. I think James Wood might have the hardest or longest hit one. I think
I can see that. So I pick. You got to pick two. So I picked Junior, and I picked James Wood.
Nice.
How are you feeling about it, Ben? Do you have a winner?
I know. I just want to see the ball get hit really hard. I hope they use the same ball they used when they were trying to help Aaron Judge break the home run record. I hope they use that. Because like they did that, like the league, and for Albert Pujols in his final year, like they did that. So if you're gonna do that, at least use that same ball for the home run derby. That would be cool. I think Caminero's got a pretty good shot. Like, he might have like it's a high effort swing, but in terms of like everybody there is going to have a high effort swing, and I think his is like the least high effort, and that's probably good for stamina. I think I don't know exactly how that's going to work. Whenever I watch the games, I definitely don't pirate them. But I do. Well, I might, but I like to listen to the other team's broadcast, because not that the Rays broadcast isn't great, but I just like to hear like what they're saying about us. And the Red Sox broadcasters were like, "Can't believe the Rays are playing so bad this series. Like, they're a really great team. This isn't normally like them." So that was kind of nice, I guess. But they were also saying in batting practice that Caminero has like the easiest power they've ever seen. And they're watching Roman Anthony, and he has like top end power. I think they said James Wood was like good, but like Caminero is even more insane. So, I hope. I honestly think Caminero is going to win, and that's not just me being like a homer. I think he's going to win it.
He's got a chance, and I think you're right that the power seems easy, and that he doesn't need. So I think like when we looked at how Randy did in the home run derby, he got all the way to the final and came just a bit short, and essentially got undone by not hitting them far, because he didn't get the bonus time. He needed to be hooking the ball. He needed to be pulling the ball and like getting it dead right with the timing. I don't think it matters when Junior hits the ball, as long as he hits the ball, because he can spray it anywhere and it'll go out. I think when I first saw Caminero come up, I was struck by how easy he found it to drive the ball out the other way. And it felt like it feels like I might have to check this, but it feels like he's hit like almost as many home runs the opposite way as he has to the pull side. Or it feels that way.
Yeah,
at
he's had
least.
some bonkers ones where it's like an outside corner fastball and he just like hits it to center, like dead center, and it goes out. And it's not even like it's not one of those like wall scrapers. It's like, oh yeah, that's a freaking bomb. Yeah, he's insane. I'll be really curious to see how that right field in Atlanta plays, because it's not like a super tall right field, but it's also not exactly short either. So like, I'll be curious to see how that plays and like all the park factors and stuff. I don't know. There's got to be a formula for the home run derby at this point. We got to have, we got to bet on this, man. Like I'm just kidding. The MLB show, the show vouchers is the most I'm going to bet on the home run derby.
Definitely.
Yeah,
and of course, we've got four All-Stars. We got Brandon Lau, we got Junior, who's going to start at third. Brandon Lau, of course, going to miss the game due to injury. But then we've also got Johnny Aranda on the bench. And then we've got Drew Rasmussen, who was added late to the roster as well, who may end up pitching. But I doubt he will end up pitching.
No, they said he'll be available. Snyder said like they're okay with him pitching an inning in the All-Star game. So
okay, so he might do. He very much might do then.
Yeah.
But 4 All-Stars, I feel like this is. Have the Rays ever had more than 4 in a single All-Star game?
I think 2009 maybe, because everybody was like, "Oh, they're kind of good." So I think a lot of them got voted in 2009. I want to say.
I think
but this is the most in a long time.
2023 they had a lot because they had Randy, Yandy, that who shall not be named. Did they have a fourth guy though? I don't know if they had a.
Was Kittredge in it with them in 2020, or was that 2022?
I think that's
2021. I don't remember.
Him and
okay,
Zunino
so
the same year.
Okay.
In 2023 they had 4. They had Randy, Yandy, number 5, and Shane.
That's right. Shane got hurt because Shane was supposed to start, and then that's when he freaking.
They've had 3 in 2019 and 2021. In 2021, they had Kittredge, Wendell, and Zunino.
Oh, Wendell was an all-star. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
that's
what a lineup of all-stars: Kittredge, Wendell, Zunino. And then in 2019, you had Lau, Meadows, and Morton. And so 2009. 2009 is definitely right. Good call. They had 5. They had 5.
Okay. I think it was like their whole infield.
So they had Pena at first, Zobrist at second, Longo at third, Bartlett at short.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and they also had Carl Crawford there as well.
Of course.
No pitchers. Wow, that's kind of
no pitchers.
Wow.
They also had 4 in 2010 as well, where they had Crawford, Longo, David Price, and Soriano.
Okay, so I mean, maybe they're not that biased against small market teams. I could have sworn like we were getting like cheated out of every single All-Star game, but I guess not. Maybe
the coaches
that's pretty good.
Yeah, the coaches and the players seem to do a pretty good job of like respecting.
That's true.
Yeah. But yeah, the fan vote is always such
it's terrible. Yeah.
It's pretty rough, but
yeah.
Good to know.
So there you go. 4 All-Stars, which is great to see. I'm so happy for Drew Rasmussen in particular. Just because he's had to go through so much, the 2 Tommy Johns and like bouncing between a reliever and a starter, but the fact that he's managed to put it together enough to be an all-star is really deserving, and I think it's a real like a big hard effort has paid off for him, so I'm really happy for him. And of course Aranda so deserving as well. And that Lau, this isn't his first time. It won't be, I hope it's not his last. And Junior, this will almost definitely be the first of many, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the draft. The Rays have their highest pick in quite some time, since 2017. They got the number 14 pick in the draft. This is definitely your level of expertise. I know next to nothing about amateur baseball. So Ben, I'm going to let you take the wheel on this one. For number 14 pick, how do you see the Rays playing it out?
Just based on the players available, it's probably a high school position player. They could, I'm hoping one of the top lefties, Arnold, Anderson, and a secret third one that I can't remember, Liam Doyle. I'm hoping one of them kind of slips down the board, but I don't think that's going to happen. So it's probably going to be a high school position player. That tier, the top tier of high school position players is awesome. So any of them are great. I personally really like Gavin Feen a lot. He, like most players, is going to be drafted as a shortstop, but won't end up there. That's just how it works. But yeah, any like just names in general you guys are excited about in the draft that you're looking forward to seeing where they go?
Honestly, I'm still riding the high of Theo last year. He's been so great.
Yeah, that's a great pick. That was awesome.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see where he ends up because like he was supposed to be like a outfielder, third baseman. I don't know. Do you have any insight as to where he's going to end up, like position wise?
Gillen looks good in center. Honestly,
Really?
like good in center in low A is, that's a pretty loaded thing to say, but
Right.
center field, second base, maybe, but I think like center he can do it. I think it's fine. I don't think it's ever going to be great. I think it can be average.
Sure.
Kind of like how Chandler Simpson is, where it's like we just want him to be average and it's fine. Because Gillen can really hit. Like he's the best hitter in the org for sure. So yeah, I think he'll end up in center. But he was drafted as a second. No, was he drafted as a center fielder? I don't remember.
It's also arbitrary. Like I feel like the positions that guys are drafted as are always so like I don't know. Like Bryce Harper was a catcher, wasn't he? Like coming out of high school, like, and now he never caught an organized ball. So it's always so like, I don't know. I'm always I'm not gonna lie. I'm really into the NFL draft with the Buck show and everything. I can't keep up with all the amateur stuff with baseball, but I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on this, Ben. Is drafting because people, at least from when I talk to like my dad or something, like they might get hung up on like, well, wait, the Rays have Carson Williams. Why would they draft a shortstop? And like trying to figure out like, just best player available versus like organizational need, like that whole philosophy. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is maybe changing just a little bit for certain players. We've seen a lot of guys around the league kind of fast track to the majors, the ones drafted out of college. So it can happen, but generally, like 99 times out of 100, they're taking the best player available in the first, how many rounds do they have? 20? In the first 19 rounds, they're taking the best player available 99% of the time. If you're not, you're leaving a lot of value on the table. And, you're still probably going to end up with a good player when you're taking like the guy that you like, because most of the time they're still really good players. But like, who was it a couple of years ago? Jacob Berry with the Marlins. He was like the third overall pick. Have you guys heard anything about Jacob Berry before in your lives?
I mean, he's a switch hitter, so I only pay attention to him on MLB The Show.
Okay. Yeah, well, he was a guy that they liked, and they were like, oh, this can be our third baseman. No, that's not how that works. Because if you get drafted as a third baseman, you're probably gonna end up like first base. Maybe you do end up as a third baseman, but it's like you're usually moving like one grade, like one position down the defensive spectrum most of the time. So if you find a guy that can stick at shortstop, you draft him because you can trade him for something else later.
Yeah, I think Jacob Berry's listed as a right fielder on MLB The Show, so they moved him to a corner outfield, which is not a good sign.
Nope.
Yeah, he is not. He's not. He has not been good. But yeah, it's always so interesting because like I always just think of it for football, especially like it's always like, oh well, these guys are playing immediately, but in baseball, obviously, like there's so much progression that has to happen. There's so much time that theoretically could lapse between when you draft a guy and when he actually plays for you. And like the positions, like I'm always super interested in like where guys end up because like you say, everyone's drafted a shortstop, but not everyone's going to end up. So that's always super interesting to me with the MLB draft and just like how it all works.
Yeah, the Rays tend to, from what I can tell from my very limited knowledge, they seem to just value athleticism in who they draft. I think that's a big thing that they value, and that's why they draft so many shortstops and why they draft so many kind of outfielders as well. I think that's a thing that they really value. I don't know if that's just a thing everyone values at that point in their career because there's so much refinement still to do. I remember the Angels a couple of years back made it a mission to exclusively draft pitchers I don't know if that does that become, is that like, do sometimes teams take such an organizational, like, right, this time we are only drafting pitchers, or does it just end up bouncing that way?
I mean, you definitely like the best player available varies by organization. So I mean, there is some like, of picking your guy. Um, but I think I want to say the Rays have drafted a high school position player within the first 100 picks of the draft. So whatever, not necessarily the Rays' first 100 picks because there are only 20 rounds now, but within the first 100 picks of the draft, the Rays have had picks in that top 100. They spend at least one of those on a high school position player for the last 23 years. So we can pretty much assume they're going to draft at least one high school position player within the first, I don't know, how many top 100 picks do they have? Like 6? No, 4 or 5 maybe? I don't know, something like that. They lost one of them thanks to Brian Baker, but they're most likely going to draft a high school position player, and I think it's going to happen in the first round just because of like where that fits on the board. We're going to know in about 45 minutes, so that's exciting.
They got five top 100.
Yeah. Okay. So one of those, at least one, probably more, will be a high school position player. They've gone pretty Canada heavy the last couple of years, which is interesting. So I don't know if that's like an untapped market. Like last year, they drafted 3 guys from Canada. That was the most. Nobody else drafted more than one. I think 2 years ago they only had. Oh wait, no, that's not Canada. I don't know, but they've gone Canada heavy lately, which is weird because they drafted 1 2 years ago, and the Blue Jays drafted 2. But the Blue Jays should draft 2. That's their backyard. Like your decision makers probably live in the Toronto area, so it's easier for them to like get out and see guys in the Toronto area. So you gotta own your backyard. I think a lot of like the Twins' current major league roster is like in or around Minnesota, which is interesting. So. Florida's a hotbed for talent, though, especially the Tampa Bay area. Like, high school baseball is good here. Like, it's really good.
Yeah, it's intense.
I don't know where I was going with that.
No, you're right on the money. Like Plant High School has like, I feel like you could field a Plant High School baseball team right now and have it be like a borderline playoff team. Like it's kind of crazy. Like you start with Kyle Tucker and Pete Alonso, and then you just kind of go from there. And it's like, oh yeah, this is
Jack Caglianone. He was.
That's right. Yeah. Jack would be out there. Yeah,
Zach's happy to hear that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like again a weird quirk about like American sports compared to the UK. We don't have the culture for high school and college sports here. We just don't do it. It's not the pipeline, I suppose, either. So I find it fascinating how seriously it's taken, I suppose, and how I mean, especially in football, but even in baseball, like people have such knowledge of like every good high school baseball player across the country and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't know how that could even happen. It's the US is huge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's video. Like the widespread video has made it so easy because like the data stuff, like it's going to vary so much from like a kid pitching in Minnesota in like 40-degree weather versus like a shortstop hitting in Miami Beach. Like the data is all over the place. So the combine is nice. The combine's cool. But teams already have done their homework by the combine. Like nobody's really like changing anything at the combine. I do know that like the medical stuff at the combine is interesting because if you volunteer to give your medical records at the combine, you are guaranteed no more than I want to say like 75% of your slot value when you go to sign. So it's like the Kumar Rocker rule because you can't say this came up in the medicals, we don't want to sign you anymore. Like you should have done your homework. Like you messed up already. You should have to like live with that decision. So when players give their medicals at the combine, they're guaranteed whatever 75% of whatever pick they're taken at, whatever assigned value is at that slot. So hopefully you already have the players' medicals before it gets to that point, or you're not doing enough homework. So that's kind of an issue, but it's like a nice safeguard for the players, I think. But yeah, it is tricky to get like all that all the eyes on all the high schoolers across the country. You got to really rely on and outside of the country, kids from Puerto Rico, Canada, Mexico. No, I don't think Mexico. Canada and Puerto Rico, they get drafted. So a lot of area scouts.
Yeah, I think, it's crazy. It's crazy. It blows my mind every time that I think about the draft, and I'm so glad that it's not my job to have to figure it all out, because I think drafting might be the hardest thing to do in terms of analyzing, because people are so raw and like learning is so unlinear. So you got to make a lot of bets.
Yeah.
But we'll find out about the draft very, very soon. Pretty much as soon as we finish up this show, we're going to be seeing who's going to be on the board. Is Ethan Holiday going to go number one? Yeah, probably.
Probably.
Yeah. But who are the Rays going to pick? That's going to be the interesting thing. Do you guys have anything else that you want to talk about? Anything that you're excited about Rays baseball wise as we head into the second half?
No, Keegan is a better framer than I thought he was. I mean, he's below average, but like below average is an upgrade, so I'll take it.
Yeah, just keep the faith, man. You know, the Rays are playing like crap.
I think it'll be fine.
It can't get any worse. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of my thinking. Like this is pretty much, I think, going to be the rock bottom of the season. I don't want to like speak anything into existence, but you know, like theoretically, this should be the worst that Rays fans feel for the whole year. So that's good. You know.
Yeah, we got Orioles, White Sox, Reds to start us off after the break. I don't think. Like, again, we could look really stupid when I say this, but that seems like as nice as you could probably get as a start. I mean, the Orioles are better than what they were, but the White Sox aren't great, and the Reds are like okay. So, because we got to use that, because then we play the Yankees and Dodgers immediately after that. So we got to get ourselves tuned up against those teams if we want to stand a chance.
Although the Dodgers lost 7 straight or something, right?
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Dodgers are going to.
The Rays only have to win 7 more games this month to keep pace with 90, because they banked so many wins in May and June. So if they go, if they go 5-4 in their next 9 games out of the break, which is probably pretty easy to do because you got Baltimore, Chicago, the White Sox, not the good Chicago. Orioles, White Sox, Reds, all below 5, or Reds are a little bit above 500, and then you can split 2 of 4 against the Yankees, who have been floundering on the road. You're back on track for 90. So 7 and what is that? 7 and 6 this month?
Yeah,
7 and 6.
Basically 500 ball.
So play 500 ball and they're fine. So I'm not really concerned, but just don't lose every game and we'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, our strength of schedule is actually pretty good compared to the rest of division. Like, I think us and the Yankees pretty much are tied for remaining strength of schedule. It's all in front. It's right in front of us, as Aaron Boone likes to say. But speaking of things that are right in front of you, the like button, the subscribe button, the bell. If you've enjoyed listening to us today, we'd really like for you to do us a big favor that helps us out massively, is to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to hear more episodes, and hit the bell so you get a notification whenever we go live and you'll never miss an episode. Other than that, Ben, Carter, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you today, and it's been a pleasure having you, the listener, along with us as well. Be sure to let us know what you think about this Rays team, what you think about the second half, the trade deadline, the draft, and the All-Star festivities. You might need to leave several comments to fit all of that in. But until next time, Rays up.
Rays up.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.